if the stimulus policies on the monetary side are not matched by underlying structural reforms at some point, then the question is, could you start to get sort of fears about payment, whether that starts to get increase of interest rates, and given the large amount of debt that the Japanese government has outstanding, that could be quite a heavy hit to the economy. So I think one way to think about this is that Japan had sort of a slow degradation over time, but Abe is, in a sense, putting his chips on really trying to shift that up, but it also runs some serious risks if it's not successful.
So what are the structural reforms that you suggest Japan put in place? Will the Prime Minister's current plans, his third arrow to be unveiled later this week, will that be enough?
The Finance Minister, Anders Borg of Sweden, had some work done about women's participation in the workforce between Sweden and Japan. And they did some rough estimates that if women participated to the same degree as they do in Sweden, in Japan, you'd get about an 8 to 9% jump of GDP. So there are difficult issues that I think will be not easy for Japan to address, immigration policy with demographics. So I think they run a little bit beyond sort of the export zones. I think, to the Prime Minister's credit, joining the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations are one way of trying to perhaps make some changes in services sector, agriculture, and others. But those negotiations have a long way to go, and we'll still have to see whether they close.
Joining the TPP will surely mean that Japan will have to open up its agriculture and other sectors that have been long protected, so potentially not quite a good move for the economy.
It depends on whether they take an ambitious approach. Free trade agreements sometimes have varying degrees of comprehensiveness. The TPP is designed to be comprehensive, more in-depth. But then the parties also have to conclude the TPP, and so far you have a lot of talk about this trade agreement or a transatlantic trade agreement, but I'm afraid they're still a distance away from trying to close on the tough decisions they need to make.